Welcome. Hello and welcome. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Midday Master Class series. Welcome to the Midday Master Class series. My name is Peter Okolie, and today we're looking at how to focus when everything is out to distract you. How to focus when everything is out to distract you. I just have to do this. In a world designed to distract you, focus is your superpower. And as you can see there, my superpower is focus right now. So in a world that is designed to distract you, your superpower just has to be focus. Just has to be focus. Moving on in our discussion today, let's quickly look at an introduction. As usual, we are dividing into three parts. The first part of this discussion will talk about why focus matters. Then we'll look at some practical steps. We'll look at some practical steps to actually begin to begin to be more focused, more intentional about being focused in our lives. And eventually, we're going to look at some common questions that people have asked around focus and distraction. Quickly, I'll just state this here that we are yes in an information age, but we are in an attention economy. We are in an attention economy, and this is because everyone is competing for your attention. You go on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever social media you get on, everyone is competing for your attention. So brands are looking for your attention. Um, Companies, individuals, everyone is looking for your attention. They need you to click, they need you to like, they need to comment, interact. So everyone is looking for your attention. So it's a big market for that. So it's an attention economy, and attention is currency. And that's the reason why a platform like Facebook is so interested in making everyone a creator. Because the more you create, the more you can actually draw attention, and that is a currency. Now, the average person checks their phone about 150 times a day. This is a report from Harvard Business Review. 150 times a day. So that's huge. And that's why it's very important to understand that the world is actually trying, everyone is trying to distract you with noise, with information all around. And quickly, what is the cost of losing focus? Because each time you're distracted, what you've done is you've lost focus. So, what's the cost of losing focus? Each time you get on a task and a notification pops up and you have to check, or you get an email and you have to respond to immediately, it takes 23 minutes on average to refocus after a distraction. So, you're working on a project, you're working on something at work or for yourself, and a distraction comes in. Maybe there was a WhatsApp message coming in, and all of a sudden that notification distracts you. You start mindless scrolling. It takes 23 minutes on average to refocus after such a distraction. Now, a lot of times someone says, "Oh, we are just multitasking." What you're actually doing is just switching tasks. And switching tasks 10 times a day costs nearly 4 hours of deep work. That means the time you would have taken to actually do some really deep work, really constructive work, put your head down and learn something new and achieve on your KPIs, switching tasks causes you to lose 4 hours of deep, meaningful work. But that's not all. One of the major cause of distraction, or a summary of the cause of distraction, is you lose your time, you lose momentum, you lose clarity, and you lose creativity. Because each time you have to jump from one project to another project, your brain has to reconfigure itself, reset itself to be prepared for that task. So you are losing time. You are losing momentum because if you're like me, and most people are in that same boat, you have to build up towards something you are doing. So you pick up a task, you build up towards it. So that's in a nutshell is some of the cost of lack of focus, losing focus. I hear people say a lot that, oh, what I'm doing is I'm multitasking. I'm doing five things at the same time. Well, the myth about multitasking is this: multitasking is just simply mental juggling. You are putting five things in front of you. There is an analogy that we use a lot. It says that when you chase five birds, you lose them all. But when you chase one, you have a chance of actually picking it up. And that's the same with when you are trying to get things done. Staying focused allows you to be more effective. And I'll explain as we go along. But multitasking is simply mental juggling. So you're just putting all of that together. Your brain can focus deeply on more than one complex thing at a time. So you're doing some serious analysis, you're doing some serious designs, you're doing some serious coding, you're doing some serious brain work. Your brain can focus on one complex act at a time. Each time you work on this, then work on that, and work on that, what you're doing is you're doing a start stop, start stop, start stop. And your brain is not designed to work like that. Start stop, start stop, start stop. Switching tasks can cut productivity by 40%. This is a research by the University of Michigan. Switching tasks from one task to the next task, you haven't finished this task, you're jumping from one task to the next task. It can cause a 40% drop in your productivity level. And that's why it's important to take this very, very serious. Distractions should be taken off. Going forward, I'd like to use this analogy to just explain what distraction does for us. You see, as human beings, we have a limited amount of time, a limited amount of energy. I'm liking our attention span to our time. So we've got time, we've got energy. But what we do when we jump from one task to the other, and we're allowing ourselves to be distracted by so many different things, is that we are spreading our time and our energy. These are finite resources that we have, and we're spreading them. And this has an impact on our performance level and on these activities. So, take for instance, you pick up activity one, you invest your time, you invest your energy. Then jump to activity two, your time, your energy. Your activity three, you invest your time, your energy. Activity four, you invest your time, your energy. And like that, like that. You discover that what you've done at the end of the day is you've spread yourself thin on all those different activities. Yes, you've actually hit all of that. But everyone knows that when you try to cut down a tree, it's not the last strike that cuts it down, it's continuous hitting. So if you are hitting different sides of that tree, what's happening is you're just chipping it here, chipping it here, chipping it here. But that tree is not going to fall as quickly as if you invest all your time, your energy, and keep hitting it at a spot, chipping it bit by bit. That is the same with our productivity level. When we spread ourselves too thin across various activities, we we hinder ourselves from reaching a very high productivity level. However, if you're like this second person that has decided, what I want to do is I want to focus. The key word here is focus. I want to focus on activity one and invest my time, my energy, my time, my energy, my time, my energy, my time, my energy, and keep doing that. What has happened is I have invested the same time and energy that the other man has, but my productivity level is high enough. I haven't even used up all my time and all my energy. But you see, the joy of finishing this task is giving me enough like recharge to be able to continue on activity two, my time, my energy, and then it goes on like that. Now, what has happened is because I've been able to complete activity one, I now have that burst of energy. burst of energy that I'm ready to use into activity two, recharge and go on. And that's the difference. Focus. Moving on. You see, when you spread yourself across so many different activities, like we mentioned before, it's like you're trying to drive two cars at the same time. You can move, but you're not going to go far. I've had that physical experience myself. So I went to the mechanic's workshop to pick up my car. So I drove another car down there, and I was thinking to myself, I didn't want to, I didn't want to walk down or take a bus down to the mechanic's garage. It wasn't too far from the house. But what I did was I drove down there, picked up my other car, drove a little, stopped, walked down, picked up the other car, drove a little, stopped, walked. And trust me, it was not a good thing to do. You're moving, but you're not going far, fast. And it's a waste of a lot of your energy. So that's how it is when you spread yourself across so many different activities. Now, we've seen why it's important to focus, because focus helps you to reach peak performance quickly, and you are able to get that burst of energy that can take you to the next point. And we've seen that, yes, there are distractions everywhere. Your phone rings, a distraction. There's distraction from neighbors. There's distraction from so many different quarters. But what are practical ways to stay focused? One very practical way to stay focused is to start with clarity. If you decide you want to be focused on something, it's important to know, what do I want to be focused on? Because you can't have focus without having a direction. So you could decide that you want to just quickly get this particular task done and write it down. Get a list of tasks that you want to achieve. Because you see, the Dominican University study says that people who set daily priorities are 25% more productive. Having a clarity of what you want to do. So take for instance, tell yourself, what I want to achieve today. Today I want to edit a video. Today I want to do an analysis. Today I want to do this task. Today I want to do this KPI. Even in your work, you can decide today, what I want to do today is I want to respond to all my emails. I want to respond to this task that I've been given. And then the beautiful thing is that has given you some level of clarity about what you want to do. Then you can have focus. Because you see, clarity just simplifies all your choices. You're not thinking, I want to do this and do this, I want to do this, I want to do my monthly KPIs, I want to do my annual KPIs, I want to do my completion report, I want to. But because you have clarity about what you want to achieve, it now allows you to say, now I have got three things I want to do. I'm going to focus on activity one, then focus on activity two, then focus on activity three. Start with clarity. The very next thing that I would suggest in helping you be free from the distractions of everything all around is using the Pomodoro technique. It's a simple technique that helps you to, one, pick a task. Just like we said before, just choose the tasks that you want to focus on. And this is because clarity helps you to maintain focus. You know what you want to do, so you pick your task. And then you set a timer. I do this regularly. Just set a timer, because in my personal life, I've noticed that I work best in blocks of time. Because when you work continuously, what has happened is you've expended your energy, your time, and it begins to give you stress. You begin to feel stressed about it. But using this technique, you set a timer and you decide that you want to do focused work for this period, in this case 50 minutes, and then ensure that you work without distractions. Focus entirely on the task and remind yourself that, yes, I know I might have received a WhatsApp message, yes, I might have received an email, Yes, I have this to do, I have that to do. Oh, I want to keep walking, I want to keep walking, I want to keep doing it, I'm flowing. But you see, what we are trying to do is trying to help ourselves to build focus. Stop. When the timer rings, just stop. And this is because it helps your brain to understand that going forward, I've got 50 minutes to get things done. So walk quickly, walk fast, get it done in 50 minutes. Take a break. Now, when your timer rings, take a break. If you decide to get up and take a stroll, if you decide to get up and just do some mental recalibration, take a break. This is not the best time to go scrolling on your phone, and then you could fall into the trap of just doom scrolling. Take a walk, get a drink, take a break, and then come back to repeat the cycle again. This time around, after the break starts, start another cycle. And after you've done two of these cycles, then you've earned a longer break. That's the Pomodoro technique. And the beautiful thing about this, it helps you to build focus. Because you see, building focus is like building muscles. You have to keep pushing it. And then before you know it, you begin to find out that it becomes easier to stay focused on a task. I've seen this play out several times. I have a friend who she just decided that here's what I'm gonna do. I don't respond to WhatsApp chats until this period and this period. I don't look at social media until certain times of the day. There was a time I was thinking that was selfish, but look here, you have to one, help yourself to stay focused, protect your mental health, because when you go around doom scrolling, all you just see is you just keep doom scrolling, and then you find out that you haven't achieved as much as you wanted to because you've allowed yourself to be distracted. So be clear about what you want to stay focused on, and build build your brain to be able to stay focused in blocks of time. Blocks of time. And the reason is because you've got finite amount of energy and finite amount of time. Moving on, like I said, focus is trainable. And in summary, resist distractions. If it means switching off notifications, you've got so many apps on your phone. You can decide to switch off notifications from Shein, from Temu, from AliExpress, from Facebook, from TikTok. Switch off distractions. Put your phone on silence when it's time to do focused work. And the reason is, when you are building a habit, you have to make it easy for yourself to get into that swing. Resisting distraction by switching off notifications is very, very useful. The next thing is this: have direction. Like we said before, if you don't have a direction about what you want to stay focused on, you find yourself just touching all around because you've not decided, I'm on activity one or I'm on activity five. Have a direction for your move. And finally, in summary, design your environment. Like we said earlier, having the right environment, and by environment I mean everything around you that can help you to stay focused. So if it means putting your phone in another room, if it means switching off notifications, if it means wearing a headset just so you cannot hear the noise around you, whatever it takes to keep you focused, you need to do that. Make sure your environment is helping you for that. If it means getting help with your kids so that someone is there with them while you're working, that is also preparing your environment. And the reason is this: your focus is trainable, your brain is trainable, and before you know it, you begin to find out that you don't even need a timer to stay on the clock, to stay focused, to increase your attention span. So these are practical ways to actually avoid the distractions that come from everywhere, from left, right, center. These are practical ways to avoid those distractions. Moving on. Quickly, what are some questions that people have asked about? Oh, how can I stay focused? How can I avoid distraction? How can I be more productive? How can I? So many questions. The first is this. So, how do I focus when overwhelmed? I use this analogy a lot. Take it bit by bit, little chunks. So, you've got so many things to do. Break it down into different activities. Focus on each, focus on one activity at a time. The reason is when you have been successful in one activity, the brain receives a reward. You feel a reward that just gives you an additional energy. You feel that energy, that vibe. Yes, I did it. And you can move to the next. If you look at all you have to do, it becomes overwhelming. However, if you break everything down into different tasks, so you've got a very big report to do and it feels very overwhelming. You can decide that the first thing I want to do here is I want to clean the data. That is task one. When I achieve that, I have achieved a goal. I have achieved something worth celebrating. That's a small task you can quickly do. Then the next task, then the next task, then the next task. Breaking your entire goal into tasks helps you to stay focused and not be overwhelmed. The next question is why? What if my job requires multitasking? Now, I've worked in very high pressure environments that looks like you've got a lot of multitasking to do. But you see, it's also about understanding what are the individual tasks within this multitask. Break them down, like I said, into activities. You have to wear different caps. Yes, I have to be in meetings. I have to do some reports. I have to do all of this. But how do I make sure that I don't get myself to a point where I am overwhelmed? How do I get myself to a point where I am not overwhelmed? What if my job requires multitasking? What you do is break it down. Have time slots for each. And assign each of those activities like an appointment to yourself. So if on your job you use Microsoft Teams, in Microsoft Teams have slots on your calendar that helps you to know that at this slot I am resting. It's important to have a space. Well, you might not write it down there as resting, but this is your break time. Yes, that's the right word here. Break. This is your break. This is the time when you have to work on this. This is your meeting time. Leave this space vacant. Having all those time slots assigned in your calendar helps you to multitask without without juggling too many things at the same time. And that will increase your productivity. That will help you to be more help you to maintain your energy and help you to be more to have a more joyful disposition towards even what you are doing. Yes. The next question here is I keep grabbing my phone. I keep grabbing my phone. I said this, you keep grabbing your phone. What I suggest you do at this point is keep your phone away. Keep it in a place where you can't easily reach so that you are free from that distraction of picking up your phone each time. Yeah? The very next thing here is how do I stop mental distraction? This question is very, very key. And the reason why it's very key is yes, there could be distractions from all around, but there could also be distractions from within. While you're working, you could suddenly remember, whoa, I haven't paid my bills. And I haven't paid my bills leads you to another thought, then another thought. And then you find out that you have spent 10 minutes in your head. Here's what you do. So you've got a mental distraction. Have a note beside you and write it down. Because what happens is when you write it down, it leaves your head and then it You know you've put it somewhere, and basically you can continue to focus. And just like before, you tell yourself, when the timer rings, I'm coming back to attend to you. So there's mental distraction as well, but we're not going to ignore them. We're going to write it down, just because if you ignore them, it builds to something else. You're thinking of something else, then something else, then something else. But when your brain knows that you're going to put it down, any mental distraction that comes, put it down, and then you can move on with your task and stay focused. This is also a very beautiful one. How can I build long term focus? Building long term focus is like building any habits. You keep doing it, you make it easy to do it. By saying making it easy to do it, is try to avoid things that can distract you. Have a notepad ready for when you want to write mental distractions. Have your timer set to tell yourself, focus time. This is my focus time right now. Have your phone on silent. Switch off notifications that are irrelevant. Delete apps that you don't need to be on. Have a time for when you visit social media. Have a time for when you respond to emails. When you create that environment, before long, you'd have created a system, a habit system that helps you to build long term focus. So, I know there could be more questions coming. Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and I will make an effort to respond to them. On a final note, a lot of what I said, a lot of what we've discussed are contained in my book, Purpose Recall. Purpose Recall, it's been out for a while, it's been reviewed in the papers, it's been reviewed by literary peers, it's been enjoyed by people all around, and it contains a lot of wonderful information, if I may say so myself. And the best part is, I have it here for you for free. The audiobook of this particular book, Purpose Recall, I've left it in the comment section. If you go to the comment section right after this video, you'll see a link to my book, Purpose Recall, and you can listen to it. If you'd like to support the book, support me, support the book, there's also a link to get the ebook as well as the hard copy. So the ebook, you can then download it via the link. You can also get the hard copy via the link, and I am so sure you would really enjoy it. And with that, we have come to the conclusions here. The first one is, focus is no longer a productivity hack. Please take note of that. Focus is no longer a productivity hack, it's a survival skill. And it's a survival skill because everyone is just trying to get your attention, because attention is currency. And this attempt to get your attention could actually be a distraction. This attention to get your productivity could actually be a distraction. And then every no to noise is a yes to purpose. Every no to noise is a yes to purpose. Remember that. And finally, start small, protect yourself from distractions, and win. Before we end today's discussion, a question just came up there. How do I prioritize my task? How do I prioritize my task? Thank you very much for that question. I will answer that quickly, and also probably put a detailed response in the chat if you have follow-up questions. One of the ways to prioritize your task is understand what is urgent and what is important. Interestingly, I explained this in my book, Purpose Recall. Like I said, you can get it for free in the comment section. Download the link. You can prioritize your task by first understanding what's important and what's urgent, and look at what's urgent, what's important, and then basically you can see what is important but it's not urgent, what is urgent but it's not important, what is important and urgent at the same time. That is a task you should prioritize. Look at your task. The one that has the highest level of urgency and importance is what you should prioritize first. Gloria Bailey, thank you very much for your question. I hope I answered your question. And do leave a like, a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe because it helps more people to receive this on their feed. I really appreciate everyone that has stayed with me, stayed on this call up till now. Thank you so very much. If you have any other questions, please put it in the chat. I will come back to them as we go along, probably just responding in the chat. Thank you all so very much, and I will see you in the next video. Midday Masterclass every Tuesday, 12 o'clock. Bye bye.